In 1930s Turkey, a single government decision was supposed to save an entire region's food supply. Instead, thousands of people woke up one morning to find their skin, hair, and even their fingerprints had turned completely white overnight. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that your skin has turned pale overnight. Your hair has gone white. Your fingerprints have vanished, and no doctor can explain why. Now, imagine this happening not to you alone, but to thousands of people in the same small region, all at once. This is not the plot of a horror film. It is a real event that took place in 1930s Turkey, in a quiet corner of the country where life moved at the slow, steady rhythm of farming and harvest. At the time, the Turkish government had a problem to solve. Wheat was the backbone of the nation's food supply, but harvests were unreliable, and crops were often ruined by disease and pests. Officials believed science could help. They introduced a new chemical treatment designed to protect wheat from fungal infections. On paper, it seemed like a miracle solution. The chemical was meant to coat the seeds, kill dangerous fungi, and ensure healthier crops and bigger yields. It was a symbol of progress, a sign that modern science was finally reaching the countryside. The chemical they chose was an organic mercury compound. To most people, it looked like just another powder to dust over seeds. Farmers were told it would make their fields safer and more productive. No one expected that this well-intentioned program would trigger one of the strangest mass poisoning events in modern history. The first signs were subtle. People began to feel tired all the time. Their hands trembled, their mouths tasted metallic. At first, these symptoms seemed like ordinary aches and pains of rural life, but then something far stranger started to happen. Their skin began to lose color. Patches appeared, then spread. Hair turned white, not with age, but in a matter of days. Eyelashes and eyebrows faded. Some people noticed that the ridges on their fingertips started to smooth away until their fingerprints were nearly invisible. Imagine looking at your own hands and not recognizing them. This was not a handful of cases. It was an epidemic. Thousands of people in the affected region developed these symptoms, and no one knew why. Doctors arrived from the capital and from abroad. They tested the water, the soil, the air. They examined patients, took notes, and argued with one another. Some believed it was a genetic condition. Others suspected a mysterious infection. The truth, when it finally emerged, was both simpler and more unsettling. The very chemical meant to protect the wheat had been silently poisoning the people who grew it, harvested it, and ate it. The mercury compound used to treat the seeds did not stay in the soil. It entered the plants, accumulated in the grain, and ended up on kitchen tables. Bread, the most basic food in the region, became a slow-acting poison. Because the exposure was low and steady, symptoms took time to appear. By the time the connection was made, an entire generation had been affected. Children were born into a world where white skin and missing fingerprints were normal, not rare. For decades, this bizarre epidemic puzzled scientists. It crept through families, through villages, through time. Some people lived with the visible marks of poisoning for the rest of their lives. Others suffered damage that was less obvious, harming their nerves, their organs, their ability to have healthy children. The full scale of the disaster remained hidden in plain sight, written on the bodies of those who survived. Even today, the memory of this event lingers in local stories and in the medical records of those who were affected. The man who accidentally poisoned an entire town was not a villain. He was a government, a system, a chain of choices that seemed reasonable at each step. That is what makes this story so haunting. It shows how progress, without caution, can turn a solution into a disaster. And it reminds us that the strangest mysteries in history are often not supernatural at all, but painfully human. That one mistake changed an entire town's story forever. If this blew your mind, hit subscribe so you never miss a wild tale like this. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.